The agent then observed a long black object protruding through the fence and realized the object was the barrel of a rifle aimed directly at him. The FBI also examined a rifle that was recovered from Trump International and found a latent fingerprint on a piece of tape attached to the rifle. What? They're saying that there's a piece of tape and then his thumbprint is on the tape that's also on the rifle. It's the weirdest thing. The second Trump assassin, Ryan Routh, is in federal custody. The government wants to keep him there. You see, they submitted this. It is the written factual proffer in support of keeping the second assassin in custody, filed in the Southern District of Florida, where Trump was almost shot on a golf club course. You can see they're going to walk us through this. There's some nice images inside of this detention memo. But let's start at the top and see what else they've got for us. So they tell us, all right, dear judge, now, Ryan Routh's in custody. And so to assist the court with the detention hearing, the United States submits the following factual proffer, telling you we think that we have enough evidence to say all of this is true. Now, the below paragraphs describe the information that the FBI has obtained through law enforcement, witness interviews, search warrants, other legal processes, forensic examinations, testing, other investigative methods that have led us here. Because the facts are offered for the limited purpose of supporting the pretrial detention, they're not going to be everything. It's not going to be all the things that we know because this is an ongoing investigation, but it's enough here that you'll find it convincing enough to keep this guy in custody. They tell us, on September 15th, former President Trump was golfing West Palm Beach at Trump International. Beautiful location, I'm sure. Now, as the former president advanced through the course, a Secret Service agent, now called the agent, who was part of the overall protective detail, moved ahead of him in a golf cart and conducted a security sweep to identify any potential threats and to ensure the safety and the security of the former president along the route. Now, the perimeter of Trump International is surrounded by a chain link fence, and the southeast corner of the course is screened by trees and brush. The sixth hole on the course is near the southeast corner, as shown here on the map, and you see that right here. Now, I also wanted to point out, I do believe that maybe it's this road, or maybe it's the other road further up, but there's a road here. It might be this road, or it might be the road further north, one road further north, but yeah, I think the club also comes up here. Maybe it's this road, but this road I think is called Gun Club Road, which is a weird simulation thing. So in other words, one of the roads that is on the perimeter of the Trump golf course is called Gun Club Road, which is weird because we made a joke about him maybe looking for the gun club and getting confused. It's not really a funny joke, but that's reality. Anyways, weird reality. So that's what's happening. So the sixth hole is right here. You see, it looks like there's chain link fencing around the perimeter, and then there's shrubs and trees doing the same. Now, while former President Trump was on the fifth hole, which would be right here. So here's the fifth tee box. He's hitting over here, hole in one. Nice shot, Mr. President, as he's rounding that direction. The agent cleared the area along the sixth hole. Specifically, the agent rode in a golf cart along the chain link fence that separated the sixth hole from Congress Avenue and Summit Boulevard. Okay, so that must be Summit Boulevard. The next road up must be Gun Club. So they're riding here, kind of riding around this perimeter. Got it. Now, at approximately 1:30 p.m., the agent spotted the partially obscured face of a man in the brush alongside the fence line. The man was later identified as Ryan Routh. The position was directly in line with the sixth hole. The agent then observed a long black object protruding through the fence and realized the object was the barrel of a rifle aimed directly at him. The agent jumped off the golf cart, drew his weapon, and began backing away. The agent saw the rifle barrel move, and the agent fired at Routh. Now, the agent took cover behind a tree, reloaded his weapon, then looked up and saw that Routh was gone. The agent called out over his radio, "Shots fired!" by the agent, and there was a subject with a rifle. The position Routh occupied when the agent first noticed him was directly in line with the sixth hole. Former President Trump was playing the fifth hole when the agent fired at Routh. Secret Service agents immediately removed Trump from the area upon hearing the shots fired at the sixth hole. Now, the FBI agents searched the area where Routh had been hiding in the tree line. They located an SKS semi-automatic 7.6239 caliber rifle with a scope attached and an extended magazine. The rifle was loaded with a total of 11 rounds and had a round in the chamber. Serial number on the rifle was obliterated and unreadable. The agents also found a digital camera, a backpack, and a reusable shopping bag hanging from the chain link fence, as shown in the photo below. Now, some people were asking if there were armor plates in here, and that maybe that's what he was trying to do. This is the GoPro recording the shooting. These might be armored plates, was the thesis, and then he's just poking the gun through it. Now, I gotta tell you, that's a pretty good sight from that Secret Service person. Like, those are nice shrubs there. If you're on the other side of that chain link fence and you're looking in, I mean, unless you're like driving by like right here, right? Maybe that's the road right there. there. But if you're way further down here, I mean, if you're close, you can see it, no doubt. But I'm thinking of a golf course looking way down, although this is pretty dark and this would stand out. But I mean, his coverage is not bad from that side. It's not like a wide open field, in other words. We have something right there. Now, the backpack and the shopping bag both contain plates. There we go. Subsequent preliminary ballistics testing showed the plates were capable of stopping small arms fire. So there it was, exactly right, as people were speculating. The photograph below shows the obliterated serial number, and that's the close-up. So it looks like it's right here. Use like a Makita or something, maybe just grind that down. Now, shortly after the Secret Service agent fired at Routh, a civilian driving in the area observed Routh running across Summit Boulevard toward a black Nissan Xterra bearing a Florida license parked nearby. The witness and Routh made eye contact. The witness observed Routh get into the vehicle and flee at a high rate of speed. The witness took photographs of the Nissan Xterra, wrote down all but the last digit of the license plate number. The witness immediately reported these observations to law enforcement. So without this witness, maybe this dude's gone. Officers from the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office and Martin County Sheriff's Office located the Nissan Xterra, traveled northbound I-95. At 2:15, they initiated a motor stop. Routh was the driver, sole occupant of the vehicle. During the stop, law enforcement transported the witness to the scene, and the witness positively identified Routh as the same individual the witness had previously seen entering the Xterra after fleeing from Trump International. So this is also interesting, okay? So there's a witness who's not law enforcement that places him there. She's really the only person that places him there. Law enforcement discovered that the license plate on Nissan Xterra was not registered to the Nissan Xterra, so he swapped the plates. During a search of the Nissan, FBI agents found 2 additional license plates. They also found 6 cell phones. One of the cell phones contained a Google search of how to travel from Palm Beach to Mexico. It's on his MapQuest still. The agents also found 12 pairs of gloves, a Hawaii's driver's license in the defendant's names, a passport in the defendant's name, and documents including the following dates. There was also a handwritten list of dates in August, September, October 2024 in venues where Trump had appeared or was expected to be present. There was a notebook with dozens of pages filled with names and phone numbers pertaining to Ukraine. I wonder if Zelensky's cell phone's in there. Discussions on how to join combat on behalf of Ukraine. It's in there. And notes criticizing the governments of China and Russia. The FBI also got cell site records for 2 of the cell phones found in the Nissan. The 2 cell phones are serviced by different carriers that utilize different cell towers. The FBI analysis shows the following. Routh traveled from Greensboro, North Carolina to West Palm Beach, Florida on multiple days and times from August 18th to September 15th. Routh's cell phones access cell towers located near Trump International and the former president's residence at Mar-a-Lago. So he was there for just under a month. The FBI also examined the rifle that was recovered from Trump International and found a latent fingerprint on a piece of tape attached to the rifle. What? The FBI examined the rifle that was recovered and they found a latent fingerprint on a piece of tape that was attached to the rifle. The latent print matches Routh. Why isn't it on the rifle? I don't think what they're saying is they got the fingerprint and took the tape and then got the fingerprint like you see in the CSI shows. I don't think that's what they're saying here. They're saying that there's a piece of tape and then his thumbprint is on the tape that's also on the rifle. That's really weird because that could mean that you never actually touched the rifle, right? You only touched the tape. It's the weirdest thing. Found a latent fingerprint on a piece of tape attached to the rifle. Unless somebody tells me I'm reading that wrong, I think that's what that says. The latent print preliminarily matches Routh. The photograph below shows the rifle. Okay, where was the tape? Did he even touch the rifle at all? Did he have fingerprints on this metal scope at all? When he was removing the cap from it? You know, anything here? This looks like it's all plastic. Might be hard to kind of fingerprint, but I mean, if he's all over the thing, you got one fingerprint on a piece of tape that's attached to the rifle? What on earth? And you got one witness who identifies him? Oh, that's the guy, definitely. Here, call it in. Yeah, just call it in. Ryan Routh is his name. Yeah, he's like 6'1", white guy, pretty thin. How do you know all this about him? I don't know. FBI agents, as part of this investigation, recently reviewed a book apparently authored by Routh in February. I can't even believe the fingerprint thing. You know, I don't read these things before so we can go through them together. Like, what the hell is this? This is crazy. Okay, you got a fingerprint on a piece on a tape and his cell phone? Okay, in the book, Routh, he wrote this book, Ukraine's Unwinnable War, The Fatal Flaw of Democracy, World Abandonment, and all this thing. In the book, Routh stated that he must take part of the blame for the person that we elected for our next president that ended up being brainless, but I am man enough to say that I misjudged and made a terrible mistake and I apologize. You are free to eliminate Trump as well as me for that error in judgment and the dismantling of the deal. No one here in the US seems to have the nuts to put natural selection to work or even unnatural selection. So this guy's, you know, ranting like a psycho. He might be a psycho, might not even be a real shooter now that we know that he just had some tape attached to the rifle with his fingerprint on it. On September 18th, law enforcement was contacted by a civilian witness who stated that Routh had dropped off a box at his residence several months prior. After learning of the incident, the witness opened the box. He's like, oh, I know that guy. The witness stated the box contained ammunition, a metal pipe, miscellaneous building tools, 4 phones, various letters, 1 handwritten letter addressed, quote, to the world, and stated, among other things, this was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump, but I failed you. I tried my best and gave it all the gumption I could muster in the letter. It's up to you to now finish the job, and I will offer $150,000 to whomever can complete the job. And I thought he had like no money. The camp box company where he made these little camp boxes, like it's a box that you camp in Hawaii. The witness took a photograph of the first page of the handwritten letter as shown below. And so is that the whole thing? To whomever can complete the job. So here's the letter. Dear world, this was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump, but I am so sorry I failed you. Well, we're not. I tried my best and gave it all the gumption I could muster. It is up to you to finish the job, and I will offer $150,000 to whomever can complete the job. Everyone across the globe, from the youngest to the oldest, know that Trump is unfit to be anything, much less a U.S. president. U.S. presidents must be, at bare minimum, embody the moral fabric that is America and be kind, caring, and selfless, and always stand for humanity. Trump fails to understand any of ... Don't know where that goes. The letter goes on to state, he, the former president, ended relations with Iran like a child, and now the Middle East has unraveled. Yeah, that's Trump's fault. The Middle East unraveled. So things were pretty quiet when he was in charge. On or about December 20th, Routh was convicted in Greensboro, possession of a weapon of mass destruction, binary explosive device, but the State Department let him come and go, and the Customs and Border was fine with him traveling back and forth. And when Border flagged him and sent it over to Homeland, they didn't care. They said, whatever, let him in. Also, it's a Class F felonies. Class F felonies are punishable by 59 months incarceration. So on or about March 3rd, Routh was also convicted of multiple counts of possession of stolen goods, which is a Class H felony. Class H felonies usually have 39 months of incarceration, signed by U.S. Attorney Mark Dispoto. Now, yeah, in terms of detention documents, okay, you know, they're going to want to keep this guy in custody because it's the Trump, it's an assassination attempt. So if the guy's crazy, he'll have to go through some sort of competency hearings, right? And there are competency hearing proceedings that happen. Generally, the way that it works, at least here in Arizona, is if somebody is insane, they see clinicians, psychiatrists, psychologists, some people the government contracts with. If they see 2 people and both people say that they're crazy, they go into rehabilitation, or you dispose of the case, essentially. If they're competent, then the case goes back on and they are prosecuted as a totally competent person, like a regular criminal defendant would be. If there's a split, if one person says you're crazy, the other person says you're sane, and those are non-legal technical terms, then you see a third person, they split, you know, they're the tiebreaker, and then you adjudicate it accordingly. But that might be the situation here if this guy's actually crazy. But we'll see if they can cobble up more evidence other than just a sticky tape fingerprint and some random witness saying that that's the guy and giving a broken license plate number. Another Trump assassination attempt, another TDS affiliated person, it seems, is in custody. And we're going to be here continuing to cover this, my friends. Thank you for subscribing. When there are more updates on this case, we'll have them here.